Everybody's been talking about the mass shooting down in Texas. It seems like we pick up these stories and we just chew on them, regurgitate them, and just talk about them endlessly and claim a bunch of stuff about gun control. We should do this. This will stop a crazy guy from going into a school and shooting a bunch of kids like fish in a barrel, right? I mean, that's what we're doing. You know what'll happen? This will quiet down. Nothing will happen. No gun control. No nothing. Meantime, down in Portland, we've got a double-double for shootings, right? Typically, double-double is a good thing. That means you accomplished, above normal statistics, right? We got 10 shootings, 10 people hit within a 24-hour period. 10 shootings in Portland. Talk about manpower needing to go to all these shootings. I mean, they can't even run around and catch up with all that going on. That's too much activity. That's too much just willy-nilly go here, go there for the cops. Meantime, trying to, keep a button on things. Is this what our summer is going to look like? Is this a precursor to our summer? 10 shootings, 10 people hit within a 24-hour period. Some victims only had minor wounds. Okay, that's good. All right. While others were critically injured, one person was killed. 2 of the victims were unintended targets, police said. Little collateral damage. Yeah, I didn't mean to shoot that guy, but man, he took it right in the shoulder, right? Oh, sucks to be him. Yeah, I mean, anytime somebody gets shot, anytime you have a shooting in general, but we are just becoming so accustomed to it. And these kind of stories, it's just Portland. It's just Chicago. We don't even talk about about these, do we? No. How come? Why don't we talk about these? Why aren't these getting the huge news story focus? Well, it doesn't fit the narrative. Take a look at who's doing the shootings. Oh, we don't want to do that. That's not good. That's not good for the optics. Who are they shooting? Oh, don't really want to know. Let's not really check into that. That's not good. We don't want to get into this. Let's jump on into this one. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Sean Reynolds. I own a couple of real estate companies here in Seattle. I read this kind of news. It's what we're doing. It's what we do. All right, let's get into it. Portland police say that 2 people were hospitalized after a reported shooting in the St. John's area of North Portland late Friday afternoon. The second instance of gunfire in that area within the space of a single day, and one of 10 shootings throughout the city within a 24-hour period. 10 shootings. For Portland, I mean, Portland is just not an enormous town. If we had 10 shootings here in Seattle, I mean, that would be something else, right? We just don't have that many shootings. We've got like these one-off shootings, got one-off crazy things. I think we've got more people with machetes and hammers here in Seattle. I see that a lot. We had a clip. I didn't show the clip because I don't want to get demonetized, and I work really hard to create this content for you guys. And so I have to be really careful with the storylines and the videos that I show. There was one video last week of a person taking their car, and I talked about it. They ran somebody over. That person pops up and somebody else jumps around and somebody starts taking a hammer to the car. Somebody's always got are people just building stuff in Seattle, or do they just have hammers to, I was going to put up my tree fort, and instead I whacked that dude over there with my hammer, with my 16-ounce claw hammer. I don't know if that's even an accurate. Is that right? 16 ounce? Is that a heavy hammer? Is that a framing hammer, I believe? I don't know. If I butchered that, sorry to all you construction guys out there who actually know tools. I have a bunch of them. I barely know how to use. I'm okay with them, but I wouldn't. That's a 16-ounce hammer. Yeah, I wouldn't. Not my thing. Portland Police Bureau spokesperson said that the officers responded for reports of a shooting just before 4:30 p.m. to the area of North Midway Avenue and North Richard Street. When they arrived, officers found evidence of gunfire, but no apparent victims. Got a bunch of that. People just popping off at each other and then scooting out of there. Oh, I don't want to be here when the police come. Because, whole shooting thing, it's not exactly legal. Later that day, a woman suffering from a gunshot wound arrived at the hospital, as happens, in a private vehicle. Portland Police Bureau said that her injuries were serious, but are not believed to be life-threatening. Okay, that's good. That's good. Also, after the initial call, police responded to a report from the 9600 block of North Columbia that someone had been shot. That person, a man, was taken to the hospital with injuries that were likewise not believed to be life-threatening. I think people got lucky on this weekend in Portland. Only 1 out of 10 died. That's pretty good, right? What was I reading about? Oh, last night. Woke up at like 3 a.m. No, I'm going to be up for like an hour before I can go back to sleep. So I watch the Night Stalker series on Netflix. Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. Listen to some AC/DC. Yeah, he was into Satan, that kind of thing. In one of his incidents, he shot somebody in the head with a .22, and that guy like literally chased him shot him and his wife in the head, and they both were okay. The one guy, point blank range takes a 22 isn't the biggest shell in the world, right? But it can rattle around, So, the guy chases him out the door. Yeah, just got shot in the head with the .22. We're going to keep on going though. So, you can get shot and you can survive. Like was it the mom or no, it was the grandma of the shooter down in Texas shot his grandma right in the face. That kid's just out there. He's just, yeah. Portland police said that both injuries are believed to be connected to the Midway shooting. We got a lot of shootings going on here in Portland. It's tough to keep them all straight. I'll do my best. Investigators from the Enhanced Community Safety Team and Focused Intervention Team responded to follow up on the case. Now that is I believe the Enhanced Community Safety Team is the old Gun Violence Reduction Team. So many different names for the same team, but we don't want to call it the same team because activists focus on that and they say, well, they're not doing any good. So we disband them, we recreate them, we rename them, and we put them out on the street to do the same damn job. Police officers, did I describe that correctly? Did I get that roughly correct? That's how it feels from a layperson, on a dude who might get arrested. End of things, not doing the arrests. According to a later police statement, the shooting happened outside of a homeless camp after a verbal fight. No, not outside of a homeless camp. They're mostly peaceful. The woman was hit by a stray round as she was coming out of a tent just behind the intended targets. So she's just walking up. She's already homeless. She's doing her thing, whatever that is. And oops, got winged. Not good. The man was one of the intended targets and was hit as well, but had a less serious injury and was soon treated and released from the hospital. The amount of resources that we are putting into people being shot is just insane, right? No arrests have been made in connection with the shooting, Portland Police Bureau said. Early Friday morning, Portland police had responded to another report of a shooting, this one at a home near North Columbia Boulevard and North Bank Street. Portland Police Bureau said that the officers found a man dead inside the home. Deceased. Not good. Not good at all. But the upside is that's 1 out of 10. Don't want to ever see anybody die. But that means 9 people lived throughout this weekend of terror in Portland. It's crazy. We're at a spot in society where we take out the smallest of aggressions by whipping out a gun and shooting somebody. Or trying to shoot somebody. Because how many times do you read 45 shell casings were found, but nobody was hit? Are they really aiming to kill, or are they just aiming to miss? Don't really know. No arrests have been made in the earlier case, and Portland Police Bureau made no indication that the 2 shootings were connected despite their proximity, just a few blocks away from one another. According to Police Bureau, these were 2 shootings. There were 2 shootings in St. John's were among 10 different shooting incidences within 24 hours. 10 people hit in all, 1 killed, 2 unintended targets. The very first shooting happened just before 3 a.m. on Friday, so just kickstarting this weekend. The fight broke out between a group of people when someone fired a gun. By group of people? What do we mean there? Yeah, a group of people, right? Hitting and wounding 2 people involved. 1 person suffered critical, life-threatening injuries, while another person received a serious injury that is not believed to be life-threatening. Less than an hour later, In the 700 block of Northeast 92nd Avenue, someone confronted thieves who were breaking into a vehicle. The suspects responded with gunfire, but there were no injuries. The suspects got away, and officers responded to seize evidence. So that is something that I am seeing here personally in Seattle, one of our communities just to it's to the south and east of me, community called 𝐏𝐞𝐤𝐬. Somebody was coming home at 1:30 a.m. from their shift, their weird shift. I get home at 1:30. I get off at 12:30 a.m. and try and sleep through the early morning hours. But guy gets home super early, late or early, however you look at that. Looks across the street. Somebody's breaking into his neighbor's car. He goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" They respond by shooting at him. Yeah. So we don't even talk anymore. If you just don't like what the other person says, crank off a round. See what they say back. Just before 6 a.m. in the 7900 block of Northeast 21st Avenue, an employee of a business there was going to move a scrap metal dumpster when they found someone sleeping inside. When the worker asked the person to leave so that they could move the dumpster, there was an argument during which a shot was fired. The suspect ran away and police did not locate them. I'm going to guess that the employee did not have the gun. I'm guessing that the person sleeping in the dumpster that was going to be moved, they were the one with the gun and they fired a shot because they were deep asleep and they're pissed off that their beauty sleep has been interrupted in a dumpster. After the homicide in St. John's, just after 6 a.m., there were a few hours before the next incident. Around 12:30 p.m., this is 12:30 p.m. on Saturday. Yeah, this is Saturday. There were reports of a disturbance near Northeast 140th Avenue and Northeast 𝐍𝐞𝐰𝐬 that were reportedly related to a stolen vehicle and possible shot fired. Officers went to the area to collect evidence, but found no victims or suspects. They had fled the scene, as you do. Shooting in St. John, we got a disturbance with shots fired and crime scene evidence. The only known victim walked into a hospital later. They've been released. Just an occupant of a home, a 62-year-old female was asleep in bed when a round penetrated the residence and struck her. And you got stuff like that going on. People are shooting rounds off in the street and you go in and hit somebody asleep in bed. Could you imagine waking up? That 62-year-old female, you're in bed, you're doing the right thing. You're in bed, you went to bed early. You're going to get up the next day. You're going to do some gardening. You're going to do a Saturday morning activity. Maybe she's dealing with the grandkids. Maybe she's babysitting the grandkids. I don't know. But the next morning, you got to say, got to call those people and let them know I won't be around. Hey, what happened? Well, I was asleep in bed and a round penetrated the residence and went into my calf. Imagine you would never believe what happened to me last night. No, I probably won't. Tell me what happened. Well, I got shot in bed. What were you doing? I was sleeping. This is what's going on in Portland. Portland is on pace to break the record for number of homicides for the second time in 2 years. Again, we go back to record setting, not in a positive direction. Yeah. 2021, 90 people were killed across the city. 90 people were killed in Portland last year. Solid work. That is, those are some pumped up numbers there, right? That was up from 57 homicides in 2020. We go 57 to 91. That bar graph is just exponentially going up, right? And a sharp increase from the 36 homicides in 2019. So we go 36, 57, 90. Are we going to do like 180 this year? I don't know. Feels like it though, right? You get 10 shootings in 24 hours. The vast majority of recent homicides have been incidents of gun violence, as they are. What's kind of interesting when you start doing investigative work on actual gun violence? How many of the shootings are people taking their own lives with the gun? Yeah. It's like, okay, you feel horrible and you feel sad for those people, but they took their own life. So there's that. You know what I mean? So much of this stuff. You really call down how many actual shootings happens. It's a fraction. And the mass shootings, I mean, they do happen. Yeah, you can't deny that. I mean, we just saw one down in Texas, but taking that one incident and just, we got to take away everybody's guns. That's not going to solve it either. Gun control, I don't think, is going to solve any of this. You got people just running around willy-nilly shooting each other. You need to change the attitudes towards violence between human beings. That's what you got to do. That's my opinion. According to data from the FBI, Portland saw an 83% increase in killings between 2019 and 2020. At the same time, nationally, homicides increased nearly 30%. But this storyline, you probably won't have heard of this storyline outside of News for Reasonable People and outside, a small, limited demographic in Portland. I cover the Pacific Northwest because Portland and Seattle have some of the craziest horseshit around. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, I just got through talking about, flashcards showing a pregnant man being shown in North Carolina. That's a little kooky. But I mean, you got 10 shootings and 10 people hit within a 24-hour time period in a pretty small city. I mean, Portland's like, 650,000, somewhere-ish there, the actual metro area. You got 10 shootings? That's a lot. I mean, that's a strong effort. That is a city that is really, really digging down and figuring out what it's all about, right? Not in a positive way. Yeah, these numbers are crazy. So what's going on in Portland? Yeah, much of the same. Yeah, you got this Texas shooting story. These stories are ongoing all the time. Ongoing all the time. And yet people are like, they're just a little shooting, 10 of them. And you won't hear this news story. It's interesting, isn't it? It's interesting. Why is that? Is it about the narrative? Is it the narrative? Yeah. The narrative on these shootings, it doesn't point us in the right direction where we want to go, which is apparently, gun control. You want to say one of those terribly cliche, guns don't kill people, people kill people. It's kind of true. Now, if they didn't have access to those guns, where would they be? So if you didn't take yourself out with a gun, would you take yourself out with, locking your car in a garage and exhausting yourself to death? Maybe. Are people taking the easy way out? Yeah, because the odds of surviving a gunshot wound to the head, unlike the Richard Ramirez Night Stalker incident, those aren't real common, are they? No, usually, you're done, one and done. Wild stuff. But it's really interesting how many actual shootings are going on out there. And for the most part, that's just, that's a regular weekend in Chicago. That's a significant weekend in Chicago. Well, they really outdid themselves this weekend, didn't they? In Portland, they really did. 10 shootings and 10 people hit within a 24-hour period. That's pretty wild. I don't know of more shootings, and I don't know that I've seen that number before. For you veteran police officers down in Portland watching, I know you're there. I know you're watching. Have there been more than 10 shootings and 10 people hit within a 24-hour period? Let me know. You've got my email. All right. That's it for me on this one. Thank you so much. We'll catch up soon on the next one. And there will be a next one. Guaranteed. Talk then. Bye for now.